How you been? It's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I've injured myself again, which is not good because I'm recovering from an injury, and now I've got like an upper and lower body injury. So it's like, and on opposite sides of the body. So it's the left arm, right hip.
Oh, right,
leg.
yeah.
So it's like,
well, it evens out now.
Yeah. So I just kind of walk really stupid. So yeah, I mean, it's been good, but I mean, working out, just trying to keep going.
You, man.
It's the daily grind in the sub-zero Arctic of what is Calgary now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think overall we've actually got away pretty easy. We've had a pretty nice, easy winter thus far. February's hit us really hard. We've got apparently it's the coldest February in Calgary in like 100 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the most snow. I feel like we got more snow last year.
Right. Yeah, I think we did have more snow overall.
Right.
I mean, we had nothing up until sort of this point, and I think part of it is we kind of were spoiled, and now this feels like so terrible because we were just so used to being, above zero.
Yeah, exactly. It's been hard, but I mean, it's nice. I do like the snow. It's nice in small quantities, right?
Yeah.
For a day or two, which is kind of the way Calgary works, right? For those of you that have never been to Calgary or don't know what the weather is like here, we get these things called Chinooks. So once every
Leonardo DiCaprio will disagree with you.
Oh yeah, well, whatever. But once every week or every 2 weeks, we basically get a warm front that blows in, dries out the air, dries out the ground, takes away a bunch of the snow, and we get like up to plus 20 sometimes, and it'll last from anywhere from one day, like we had yesterday, to 2 or 3 weeks. Which is really nice. So it makes winters in Calgary very easy to live through, I feel.
Yeah.
Except when we get these cold snaps like we've had this February, where it's like 2.5, 3 weeks solid of minus 20, minus 30. With the blowing snow and stuff, and of course everybody forgets how to drive. Yeah. I was telling you on my way up, like 5 accidents, and most of them were cars that just lost control and were flipped around. Yeah. Heading southbound on the northbound side of the highway, right? I'm just like, what are you doing? Luckily, they were able to get off to the side or whatever, but it slows traffic down, and you got to get an emergency crew out to dig them out of the snow, flip the car around, and or tow them or whatever if there's damage. But yeah, pretty wild. Overall, we're pretty lucky. It's interesting too. I think we were talking a little bit before we started the podcast about what we were going to talk about today. Yeah. But I think it kind of ties in because this I've got going on is my winter growth, right? My winter beard, and I felt like we might talk a little bit about beard and grooming and kind of just manscaping. Maybe not manscaping, but
yeah. But you just started growing your beard really this year, right?
Well, I've had a beard
before.
Pretty much my entire adult life. Like I've always had either a goatee or a mustache or a very trimmed situation. Just here, I've had a full facial beard for probably the past 8 or 9 years, but very close cropped. So like probably a 2 or 3 on the clippers. Yeah. But as of, I guess probably would have been November, maybe middle of November, I decided I was like, I'm gonna grow like a proper winter beard. Yeah. And I really just. It was mostly because I thought, well, it'll keep me warmer in the winter, but also because my wife was like, I think you'd look really good with a beard. I want you to grow out a big... I'm like, I don't know, because it gets itchy and it's kind of a pain. And that's one of the reasons why I always kept it very closely trimmed, because if you keep it closely trimmed, the hairs don't have a chance to get long and kind of curl under and poke at the skin and cause that itching. But once you start and you get past that, I mean, I think everybody's different, right? But once you get past that, like 3 weeks to a month of where the hair is kind of curling under or whatever, and it starts to get a little longer, all of that goes away and you don't have to deal with it anymore, which is really nice. I think the thing that a lot of people forget, and of course, the number one question that I get asked because now people are noticing that I have a big beard, and they're like, well, how long did that take to grow? You must have been working on that for like 3 years. And I'm like, no, it's been like 3-4 months. Because this grows at the same rate as this does. Yeah. Right? Actually, not quite, because the way our scalps are built, especially as men age, the hair on the top of our head tends to grow slower than the hair on the sides and the back. But basically, it's just body hair. It grows at the same rate. So it's about 1/2 inch a month, give or take. Like I said, there's always individuals. But the biggest thing is just to let it grow. Yeah.
But everybody's got their different lengths, right? There is beards have like a terminal length. like they will grow to a certain point and then they will stop.
Really?
Yeah. So
I don't think I've reached it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and everybody's different. That's why you see
Right.
some guys that can grow these absolutely massive beards. Number one, they have the patience to do it. And
Right.
number two is that, it'll actually grow. And I know a couple guys that have had, like, fairly big beards.
Right.
Some bigger than others, and it's just like, it just won't
Right.
really kind of grow.
Because if you just stop cutting it, it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
And that's basically where I'm at. It's just like I don't trim it. I haven't.
Yeah.
I have actually twice because I find that my sideburns tend to grow out.
Yeah.
And they grow a little faster than the middle portion.
Right.
So if you don't kind of trim it and keep it neater, you have a tendency to look like a homeless person.
Yeah. Like Jack Black.
Yeah, like Jack Black, or like the raging like 70s fro beard,
Right.
Which is what I wanted to avoid. I kind of wanted to have a nice streak streamline. The other thing that I'm realizing is that there's actually a lot of care that has to go into a beard.
Yeah.
A lot more than I anticipated. So, obviously, trimming and whatnot. Once it gets to the length and kind of the shape that you want, then you kind of have to continue to do that. I would suggest going to a barber. I don't like doing it myself because I can never get things even.
Right.
So when I'm at my barber to get my hair cut, he usually just kind of takes his clippers and a comb to make sure things are kind of even and nice looking. You want to get rid of the dead like split ends and things. But when you get out of the shower, I have to blow dry it. Like it doesn't. I don't get out of the shower and it automatically looks like this. In the shower with the heat and the moisture, it actually kind of tightens up and then and froze out a little bit and just looks poofy. So I actually have to use a comb and a hair dryer to pull it and straighten it out.
Yeah.
And you do a little bit of that. And then there's also this product. I mean, you can use any ladies or men's like hair care products, like brush-in or leave-in conditioner works just fine. Yeah. They're generally not the most manly smelling things. So there's an entire product line of like beard care products, and it seems like you can get them now at like most of the high-end barber shops. I would suggest maybe buying it online because it's going to be a bit cheaper. Yeah. But yeah, a good beard oil that you put in just after a shower, you're using probably a quarter-sized amount that you rub in your hands and rub it all the way through your beard. I just use a comb, although apparently you're supposed to use a badger hair brush. Yeah. Is the proper way to comb it through a beard. I find the comb works just fine. Yeah, my hands.
It really depends on what you're going for. I find that even with the goatee, and to be honest, mine looks probably terrible at the moment because it's winter and I just don't do anything. Because half the time, it's like walking outside wearing a face mask, whatever. It just it kind of gets all twisted and gnarled up. But typically the brush will help it lay a lot
better for sure.
A lot better than combs. Typically I'll use a wooden comb as well.
Okay.
Two different lengths, just depends on what we're trying to accomplish. And I mean, you can train your hair because it's like your hair. Yep. Sometimes you have a beard that wants to do all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff and go directions it's not even all that, but you can train it, and like you said, with the blow dryer and so on and so forth. Yeah. Same thing. The oils. For me, it's more the skin underneath.
Right.
Because it gets a little dry.
It can.
Times.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had full beards in the past, and I just, it gets dry, and actually, when you cut it off for the first time, it's a little
shocking.
Different. It's a little weird for your skin. Your skin feels definitely different, but it's a good thing to keep your skin at least moisturized, and especially here, like in Alberta, where it's extremely dry.
So dry. And luckily, I've not had any major problems with like beard dandruff or anything like that. I have noticed, especially in the past couple weeks, because it has been so dry, the hairs are falling out at a more rapid rate than they had been previously. So again, it's just a matter of making sure you're using more oil, and then the finisher that I was using before it got to this length, I was just actually using a little bit of like hair paste, like pomade or something. You got a beard balm instead. But now I have a beard balm, which is like a cedar and sandalwood essential oil infused with beeswax.
Yeah, it's always funny. Like I always find it funny that a lot of these beard companies, for whatever reason, it's like you're growing a beard, you want to smell like a lumberjack.
Right. Yeah.
It's like. cedar, oak, or whatever, the case may be. They're all like that. I mean, it's not the most offensive smell, or sandalwood or whatever, but it's just funny because it seems to be like kind of the go-to.
It seems to be, I think, because it's an easily reproducible scent, I believe. Although the one that I'm using, and this is not a product plug because they didn't pay me to mention it, just happens to be what I'm using right now. It's a company called Just Like Grandad.
Yeah.
They're out of Edmonton, so they're like a little... I wouldn't say hobby size, but it's like a micro producer. I don't even know what you'd call it anyway. It's like, small sized producer, but they've got a whole lineup where I think they've got like lilac, rose. What else do they use? Obviously the sandalwood and cedar.
Yeah.
And a few other things, but they've got a couple scents that you wouldn't associate with like being manly.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because actually my wife bought that, oil in the balm for me, and she chose the cedar because she likes it.
Yeah.
So she said it's actually not my favorite. I prefer like a sandalwood or even like I don't even know what you'd call it. I had a hair product. It was like a spray-in thing, and it was like ocean.
Yeah.
So it was just like salt water.
Yeah.
That to me smelled really good.
Yeah.
She didn't really like it though. She's like, I don't like your face smelling like a clam. And I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah. There you go. It's funny though that some of the woods though, like with some of the companies, that you just smell like campfire on your face.
Right.
It's kind of weird when you
like
first
burnt
put it on.
campfire.
Yeah. It's like you've been standing in front of a campfire all day, and you go somewhere where you're not by the campfire.
Yeah.
You're like, I stink like campfire.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the cedar scent that my wife bought me, and I was a little concerned about it at first because the first time I put it on, I was like, I smell like a horse stable.
Yeah.
Because they use a lot of cedar bough lay for like over top of the hay, especially in the winter. I don't know if the horses eat it, but they definitely use it. And I was like, man, I don't think this smells good at all. But she's like, no, it smells good. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because to me, the whole point of having a scent, whether you're a man or a woman with perfume, so like cologne or beard scent or whatever happens to be, is to signal to your partner good feelings or lust or whatever it is. So if she likes it and she's my partner, okay, cool, I'm in. I'll wear it all day long. And then the same with her perfumes and things, right? But I like the balm because it gives you that
structure,
shaping and structure, and it helps the beard stay in position for 2 days, 3 days. Like I don't have to wash it every single day, and I just use regular shampoo. But if you're not using something like that, you've got to wash it and like condition it more consistently. So it's funny because I'm not one of those like products guys, right? I've always been like, I'll just use soap or shampoo, or I'll just use whatever it happens to be, and it'll do the same thing. But there is actually a point to some of these specialty products sometimes.
And I mean, it's beard balm. You're only using like a pea-sized.
Oh, such a tiny amount.
It's not like you buy a tiny little tin and it's lasting you for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I got this tin that I'm using for Christmas, and here we are nearly the end of February, and I've still barely.
Yeah, same thing with beard oil. It's you don't use. I prefer non-scented stuff personally, just because
They say one of the best things is just coconut oil. Like if you can buy like a 1 kilo or a 2 kilo tub of just like cooking coconut oil, where it's like it's solid at room temperature, and you can just like scrape out a little bit, warm it up in your hands, it turns to oil, and then use that on your beard or your hair or your skin. Apparently it's really good. I've not used it for any
I
of
use
those purposes,
Mammoth, which is a local area.
To Calgary?
Calgary area. I'm not sure if they're in Calgary specifically. They're local. I use their beard oil, and then I use, and this is more likely a plug, I use Sullen stuff because they send me stuff. So I use, if you send me stuff, Sullen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not really what they're into. They're more into the tattoo art and clothing and stuff. And anybody who's watched anything that I do know that I wear the same hoodie every fucking day. And, people are like, you just wear the same hoodie? It's like, no, I have like 10, 15 of them. And it's like...
I got a bunch of rockabilly clothing like that, actually. Like my, I'm decked out in Fender stuff today for some reason. This is not a plug. I should have put like duct tape or something over it. I did work at a music store once, and that's where I got this stuff, because I was like guitar salesman of the month or something. So I won a hat, and then I sold the most over Christmas. I got a hoodie and a bunch of other shit, like,
which is good,
which is cool. But that's why I happen to wear it. But yeah, I've got like they're basically like Dickies work shirts. Yeah. But I've got, Jesus, I think I have like 15 of them. Yeah. And they're all the same design, Fender patch here, like the original Stratocaster on the back or whatever. But they're comfortable shirts, and I'd wear them all the time. I still do, but there was a time where like that was my uniform every day. Yeah. And I remember going out for dinner with some friends of ours, and they're like, "Do you only own one shirt?"
I get the same thing. You know, people that know me well, like they'll make fun of it. It's like, you know, like if I don't wear a hoodie, right? It's like, where's like your signature hoodie? Because, right. You know, and you know, I've been given some other ones with different designs. I typically just stick with the base logo one. I have some different ones. Every once in a while, I'll wear a different one, and people are like, "Holy smokes! Like, what's that?" It's like, what? You know, still black. It's still, you know, same company, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, for me, it makes it simple. It makes decisions. You know.
Well, there's something to be said about that, right? I mean, if you look at Steve Jobs, for example, he went through that change after, you know, the big breakup with Apple in the 80s, and then, you know, buying Pixar and doing everything else that he did, and then coming back to Apple. It was around that time that he changed to the jeans, black belt, black turtleneck, like, and white sneakers, and that was the same thing he wore every day. He had like 30 shirts and 30 pairs of pants, and it was the same. And it takes away any sort of thought that you have to waste on what am I going to look like or what am I going to wear today. Yeah. Kind of, you know, one of those, I don't know if it's in that book. What is it? That 100 things that highly effective people do or whatever. Right. Something like, but I mean, that's, to me, I think about it and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense, right? It's one less thing to worry about or think about, and boom, you go. But it does create a funny circumstance, I suppose, when you show up and you're not wearing your hoodie. Yeah. It's, where people, you know, are like, people are a little like, whoa, wait.
Well,
what? Because you become associated with that, with that look. It is funny though. You mentioned about Sullen and the tattooing thing. Do you ever watch that show, Tattoo Competition? What is it? King of Tattoos or Tattoo Master? Ink Master.
Ink Master. Yeah.
Do you ever watch it?
I have.
Yeah. My wife and I really enjoy it, and I feel silly admitting that I like some reality TV, because it's not. It's like, it's as much as it's reality in that it's not scripted. It's like it's planned out. They know who's going to win. They know who they want to push through to the final. I think.
You know, it's interesting. Like the guy that does my tattoos, Joe Capobianco, was on a reality one on Oxygen as well, and They judge those guys. I mean, they put them. It's kind of a weird situation for, I think, tattooists to be in. Like, you know, they give them these timelines that are completely not very conducive to doing good work. Yeah. You know, it's like, we're going to want you to do this piece and you've got 5 hours, and it's like, you know, again, you know, there's some people with a skill set that will go in there and they will crush it, right? Because some people are really good at saturating color, some people are really fast at lining, and all those kind of things. But it's always kind of interesting because there's a lot of egos in tattooing. Oh, so putting all those guys in the same room and putting them like head to head, you know, and I'm sure you've seen them like get absolutely nasty with each other.
Yes, for sure.
You know, and I think that's kind of where the reality TV and sort of like they know, you know, they'll interview everybody beforehand, pull all these personalities, and I think they purposely pull personalities that are not going to work
very well. And it's funny because that's actually the part of the show that my wife and I skip, because we both don't want to watch people argue. Like, that's really stupid. But we both love tattoos, we both love art, and we just think it's cool. But to get back to my point, if you watch the show, all of the competitors day one have an outfit. Yeah. And all the way through till the end of the show, except for the live finale where they'll dress up, they wear the exact same outfit or a variation thereof, where it's like a hat and suspender overalls and a gray t-shirt. Yeah. And then the next week it might be gray overalls with a blue t-shirt or whatever, but it's always that same thing.
A lot of tattoo artists are like that.
I guess, yeah.
You know, like I was a tattooist before, and I mean, that's what I was. It's just my thought process goes into things that I'm creating, not necessarily
what you're wearing.
What I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's exceptions to the rule for that
sure.
as well, but it's generally what you're comfortable in. And
for sure.
Because you're sitting and tattooing for 5, 6, 7 hours, and that's why I always wonder with these guys, with the ties and the dress up really nice to tattoo. I'm like, why? Like,
well, because you're gonna get splattered and ink and stuff on you or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it is, I don't know. I think it's interesting to reflect on it and go, oh, that's to see sort of the branding.
Yeah.
You're basically creating a brand for yourself that people
There's
associate
definitely that too.
look with you. And the same with like my beard or like you're with your kind of a slicked hair and the goatee and your hoodie. That kind of thing, it becomes associated with you. It's interesting because I'm planning to shave my beard off actually, second week of April.
Yeah.
No reason other than it's around Easter holidays. My wife's got some time off. We're planning to have some time off together, and I'm just like, sounds like a good time. That'll be pretty much the 6 month mark of me sort of doing my body transformation challenge as well.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going, oh, that's a good time. Maybe we'll peel off the beard and see what my face looks like underneath. But I'm also kind of scared because this look now has sort of become part of who I am. Like I'm looking in the mirror. Yesterday I did like comparison shots. I'm actually doing a YouTube video for my Samurai Fingers channel, kind of like 20 weeks progress. And I took body shots before and after, and you can see the difference in my beard, but my face, my body, everything else. But those pictures, I'm like, I like the way I look with the beard. I like I don't know. And so now I'm thinking maybe I don't want to shave it off.
Right.
It's become attached to me, which is silly to say because it's on my face. But
that's a hard thing. That's a hard thing for people with beards. Is sometimes getting rid of them, and that's why, and you always see the reaction, right? Like, number one, because it does change your jawline extremely, right?
Oh, 100%.
And people get used to it. Like, I mean, I've been, if you look at, for example, the promo stuff for my other podcast, I don't have a beard at all at that time, right? I've got a little bit of scruff, and that's kind of it.
Right.
But, I've actually kept this for longer than usually. I change something, like it's either full beard or it's this or it's completely gone, but I've kept this for a long, long time. And I think part of that is honestly, part of it, like you said, is branding, because people recognize you for that. Yeah. So it's...
Well, I ran into a friend that hasn't seen me in probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I had to like physically grab him and be like, "Hey, how you doing? It's Nick." And he like did a double take. He's like, "I totally didn't. I never thought that was you." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me." He's like, "Well, the beard and you've lost weight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know," and whatever. But he's like, "I didn't recognize it."
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And we're running out of time. I want to wrap it up, but I always used to laugh and joke about Superman.
Yeah.
And I was
the
like, glasses and the curly Q in the hair. Yeah, sure, that's totally enough to change. But I think it might be.
Yeah.
Who knows? I might be a superhero.
There you go.
No. Well, there you go. So I think that's a good place to wrap her up for this one.
Sounds good.
Cool. Well, it was good chatting with you, and thanks again for tuning in for another episode of the Dudecast. I'm Nick.
I'm JD.
See you later.